Okay, so I think my job now is to uh, how do I pop over to? I just want to upload. They're gonna let me do that. Upload live. There you go. Okay, so for some reason, I'm very sorry if my tabs give you anxiety. Should get that checked. Actually, let me save this. Um, Here it is. So Flicky, I've already got this. So I've already exported. Click that again, and whatever you already exported will be here. If you make changes and you want to export a different version, you'll have to do this. Wish they made that a little more clear in the software, but nonetheless, it's a good software. So take this one, pretty simple. Drop this in here. I'm using TubeBuddy. Something like that. Yep, that's fine. And you're going to see me schedule this. Uh, or let's do it. Yeah, I can do it tomorrow. Um, 9:30 tomorrow. Uh, because everybody loves analytics on a Saturday. Okay, so I think there we go. That's what I was looking for. Need to get rid of quite a bit. Looker Studio. Actually, you know what? I'm really thinking about just removing everything here and then going through and picking custom tags. I've got those that are here, and I can paste them here. Oops, that's not going to work. Let's try something else. I don't know why it does that. It's so freaking annoying. All right, we'll do it that way. I didn't even know that was an option, to be honest. Let's do this. They're not going to let me do that. Okay, let's do this. Import, and I can just import these GA4, GA4 setup tips, and that's 14 of those. They're imported. Okay, cool. Um, Probably want to have migration related stuff in here. Go to Keyword Explorer. Where's my list though? I think I have to be in a different screen in order to get to the actual list. Yeah, that's what it looks like. No worries. Duplicates, that's kind of cool. And then I can just go Universal, Analytics, UA, UA, Migration, Universal, Analytics, Migration. And we'll just do it that way. Um, okay, good enough for what I need. Now, if I wanted to, I can go here and look for things that are interesting. I don't like how the screen jumps every time I click something. It's pretty annoying. Table, just saw it. Really, I'm just looking for a setup. Um, okay. Mm, get rid of course. Why does that? It's like a glitch in this particular system. So weird. All right. Anyways, next. Let's go ahead and schedule. Close. The email said 29 days, I believe, even though we're at 28 now. Yeah, 29. So we're good there. Whatever. Um,
In this video, I'm going to show you how you can use chat.
Not what I'm trying to do there. Let's see if I can get this music to work. I don't want to see what this does. Old email.
Hello there and welcome.
Tutorial. Okay, cool. But then now all these freaking tabs, maybe I can figure it out a little bit easier. All right, so I'm going to just kind of zone out, do my own thing, go into a little bit of a workflow, or try to get into one, and show you guys what I'm doing. Let's do page 2. Love.net.com. Cool. Yay, live stream. All right, cool. So here we go. We got exploration report. jazz. I don't know about the quality on this joint, brother. Yeah, I'm gonna say no on that. We got explorations. Anyways, I'm thinking about just creating series that speak on GA4 related things. We should probably do an entire series on GA4 events and conversions. Audience segment, exploration, reports. Yeah, something like that. If I'm being honest, I don't even really rock with it that heavy. Um, I'm always interested in figuring out the difference on segments, and I'm going to get that in the Explorer report actually. So if we go here, let's say that we're going to do segments, event segment to a particular location, previously purchased product. So you can do it on, oof, that's really strong. And I can build an audience from there. Um, I wonder if I get to choose. Oh, I gotta choose it here. Thinking about date. It doesn't go too far back now, does it? Interesting. I wonder why that is. So user segment, and then that's if I'm trying to identify the actual user, which is probably how I would want to build an audience personally, but it's a whole nother can of worms. Or we can go generate lead. Hopefully there's more than three, seven, and 421 events in this segment. Okay, and I can build an audience based on that. Set it for however long I want. I can say generate lead. What is this, Q2? Something like that. And I just need to make sure that this is open enrollment. I'm going to say it is. So I just created an audience out of my reporting section, essentially. That's kind of cool. And then I can say, based on those people, I want to know, uh, I don't know, let's go city, traffic source. So I can probably go default channel grouping, this one for the session. None of that's going to play. User lifetime, not really interested in that. Let's see, link. Interesting. Page screen. I got content group. This content group thing is really cool. Um, it looks like this here. And there's a couple of videos. Let's do all these. this is how I would use this. I mean, the whole reason I bought the tool or made this tool was so that I could have people right click, open that up. Sometimes you can, there it goes, and open this one
Content
up.
groups is a great way to
I
analyze
love
your
learning from
website's data.
Julius. Big shout out to Julius. Love Analytics Mania. I remember signing up early and being a part of it ever since. I've even paid for one-on-one coaching with him.
Data and identify what kind of content performs better. In this video, we will take a look at how to track them with Google Analytics 4. Hey, my name is Julius and welcome to the Analytics Mania YouTube channel,
Speed you up,
where I
buddy.
teach people how to work with Google Tag Manager and Google Analytics. So if you want to stay up to date with GE4, then consider subscribing to this channel. Content groups in Google Analytics allow you to group content and then see more aggregated data, for example, based on page category or maybe type of content. Let's say that I have 3 pages on a website and I know how many views that each page get. But with content groups, I could group some of these pages based on their topic or their category or something else and see a bit different report. For example, I'm looking at content group X and I know that this content group has 35 views because it is a sum of these 2 pages. And then I have a second group where that third page is included, and now I see that I get more views when it comes to content group X. For example, here I have a report of top pages and I see the number of page views, but I could also group these pages based on their topic. For example, on my blog, analyticsmania.com, I mainly teach about Google Analytics 4 and Google Tag Manager, and there are different levels of difficulty. Google Tag Manager for beginners, intermediate Google Tag Manager, and so on. So while this report allows me to look at each page individually, I could use a content group instead of page path, and then I can see how many page views do I get based on those topics and their difficulties. My most popular content here is Google Tag Manager for beginners, so basically blog posts that cover similar topics. Now let's take a look at the example of how to set this up with Google Tag Manager. Here I have a demo Google Tag Manager container where I have a basic Google Analytics 4 setup. In this video, I presume that you already know how to install GA4, but if you don't, then take a look at the description of this video where I have another tutorial that teaches you the installation process. Here I also have a demo website, and let's say that I want to track different sections of the website. So if someone lands on a page, I want content group to be called homepage. Then if a visitor goes to blog, the value of content group should be blogs or articles or something like that. Then if a visitor goes to catalog, where the visitor can buy some products, then we can have some other value for content group like collection or products or e-commerce section of the website. So the naming convention is solely up to you. And the ways how you can approach this can be different. For example, you might try to create some custom setup where you check the URL of the page, and then you could send that value of content group to Google Analytics 4. Another way could be more advanced, but also riskier, where you try to scrape the website, and if a particular element on a page, for example, page title says this, then you would send its value to Google Analytics 4. But the most robust way would be to ask a developer to push the value to the data layer. And in this video, I'm going to focus on that. Here is a demo code that you could ask a developer to add to the website, but this code should be added above Google Tag Manager container code. This means that when Google Tag Manager loads and when your GA4 configuration tag fires,
And then you
this
make a
data
data
will be
layer
already available
variable for a
for
section of
catalog,
website.
a data layer variable with this exact name right here. So since I'm working with section of website, I must use this name. If you have something else like a content group or anything else, then use that value. So let's double click this, copy, and then in the value right here, we need to click this button to create a new variable. Then click plus variable configuration and then select data layer variable. Here we have to paste that name of the parameter from the data layer.
All right, bet. That's what I thought. But you have to, on the config tag, feels the set. Perfect. Okay,
And the value
cool.
right here, we need to
So it'll look like this. So this push will happen as soon as the page loads. Um, I just went ahead and ran through that mostly because as soon as he said it, I had it. But actually, I need to fix this variable because it's not supposed to be like that. I wonder that if I save this and then go back and fix it, if it'll fix in real time. Just like this. Let's go ahead and do that. And I'm guessing the configuration tag will be fine. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, cool. Yep. User property. Something was off. So then I would play it this way. I've got some changes. I can push these live. I can go look at them individually, which I always will do. 3 days ago. These were added. That's nothing out of the ordinary. Updates, publish. Okay. Do I not have a section of website? Okay, variable? What are they trying to tell me? Oh, yeah, I don't have a data layer variable yet. What am I doing? Take it easy. Hey, take it easy. All right. Now everything will push. Sorry about that. Update. DLV within parameters. GA4 config. And we in there. That's how quick and easy it can be. So the whole benefit of this isn't, hey, everything I tell you here is going to be impossible for you to go find on your own. But it puts it all in one spot and it's all relevant. Let me see if I can, yep. They're saying I'm not enrolled in a course. I am logged in. I just log in real quick. I'm out. So I have a section on the, big shout out to Greg. Oh man, here we go. How do I pause? Let me pause the screen. Start virtual camera. I think it's, did I create a, okay, yeah, it's like that. All right, whatever. Go grab this real quick. I'm in there. They're really good about security here. Oh no, not the affiliate situation. Okay, here we go. And so I've got all these. I need to finish the rest of these GTM ones, but I'm not here to criticize that. What I am here to do is talk about this guy. There it goes. Figure out a way to click through that a little bit easier. Custom dimensions and content groups.
Speaking of the
So
author as an event scoped custom,
obviously I already have this solution, but let's say that I was newer and I didn't quite understand what he was saying in the video.
dimension that you could
There's a link
send
that goes directly to this specific lesson in his
together
course.
with your page views or your other events to Google Analytics for.
So
And here are
assuming
several
that
other ideas
you
that you could ask your
care enough to pay for the courses, every course that I recommend, I believe there's 3 or 4, but every course that I recommend, if you own that course, you'll be able to go directly to the lesson
developer to push to the
to solve the problem you're
data
after.
layer before Google Tag Manager loads. Or maybe you're working with a content management system like WordPress that has plugins which automatically push this kind of information to the data layer. So in addition to the author data, you could also try to get a topic of article or some blog post. For example, in my case, the topic could be Google Tag Manager or Google Analytics, or maybe in the future it could be something like Data Studio or something else. And then in the report, I could use that as a custom dimension, and then I could see which topics generate more page views, are more engaging, people are staying longer on that page. And then you could try to track the length of the article, but don't try to measure the exact length because then aggregation will be difficult. Instead, ask your developer to push ranges into the data layer. For example, if the article is very short, like 300 words, words, then this would be the value that is pushed to the data layer. So then in Google Analytics, you could create a report where the primary dimension is number of words in these ranges, and each row would represent that particular range. And as columns, you could see metrics such as views, exit rate, maybe some other metrics that you find valuable to your analysis. That way, you will know what is the optimal length that gets the most engagement, most page views. People are consuming that content the best. Also, you can track something like type of content, like is it a blog post, or maybe it is a page with an embedded audio player for your podcast, or maybe that is a page where you have embedded video player, or maybe that is a sales page or something else. In fact, you could even use a standard dimension for that, which is called content group, and Google Analytics 4 supports by default one content group. So in Google Tag Manager, you could set this particular parameter, and then its value could be what kind of content is it? Is it blog post, podcast, video, sales page? If you're working with some different type of content, then maybe you would like to use content category here. Like, is it about men apparel? Is it about shoes? Is it about something else? And then you could use a default content group dimension in your Google Analytics 4 report. An example of the configuration in Google Tag Manager could look something like this. You can send a parameter called exactly like this, content underscore group, all lowercase, and then you insert some variable that returns the value that you will send together with this parameter name. So let's pretend that I have in the data layer this kind of parameter, which is type of content. Its value can be blog post, video, podcast, something else. And then the value of this variable will be the value of this parameter. And I have included this in the Google Analytics 4 configuration tag. I talked with a developer and I asked him or her to push this kind of parameter to the data layer before Google Tag Manager loads. So this means that the data layer push code is above Google Tag Manager code, and then this will be sent to Google Analytics 4. If you're working with single page applications, then you would need to also include this kind of configuration in pretty much all of the tags, like separate page view tags, some other event tags. So everywhere you should include this. And then in real-time reports, it might look something like this. So here is my real-time report, and here I have a list of all events tracked in the last 30 minutes. If I click it, I mean the page view, then I can see various parameters. One of them is content group, and here are possible values. So my content group is basically about what is the topic and what is the level. So GTM beginners means that this is content for Google Tag Manager beginners. Then if you're an advanced user, then it will be GTM advanced. But I mean, it depends on the difficulty of the content. You probably noticed also that I have content group 2 and 3, but these are just simple event scope custom dimensions, while content group without any number.
I don't know. I got to think about
This
that
is
one.
a standard parameter that is automatically recognized by GE4, and you don't have to create a custom dimension for that. And then when you start sending content group, you could use that in the report. So let me just quickly go back to my exploration. And currently I'm looking at these metrics when my primary dimension is page path. But I could, instead of page path, use content group right here. I add it to the exploration, and then I add it on top of the page path. And then you will see the data. Unfortunately, it says not set to me, and I don't know if it's a bug or not, but for some reason, things like content group or event scope custom dimensions don't work with the new users metric. So if I remove it, then I can see my content group, how many pages did I get, what is the exit rate, and I might add even some additional metrics right here. On some pages I have not set, so for some reason I'm not sending any values. So this will probably require more investigation because there's probably some technical issue. But by having this kind of report, I could start looking at the numbers and then see that, all right, the best performing content when it comes to views is GTM beginners. But since I'm already familiar with the business, most of my content is for GTM beginners. So the more content I have, the more views I have, which is normal. But in this case, I could add more metrics to see a better picture. So let's go to metrics by clicking this plus, and then you might find some metrics that are valuable to your analysis, like entrances. So when that page was the first page of the session, in other words, landing page. So how many times was that page a landing page? You can click this. Then we have data about users, for example, average engagement time per session. We also have a sessions metric somewhere, or engaged sessions. So let's click engaged sessions. Also, we might check the engaged sessions per user. But in some situations, you should be prepared that not all metrics make sense in certain situations. So if you see that some numbers just don't add up, then I recommend to remove that metric from the report. Click import. Those metrics are now here, and let's add them. I will start with entrances. I can add it somewhere probably next to views. So I would see how many views did I get, how many entrances, and then how many exits. Then to the end of this table, I can add average engagement time per session and engaged sessions. Now I can see that GTM beginners content is also one of the top landing pages, or at least the group of landing pages, but also this is the most popular final page of the session. But this is normal for blogs like mine, because usually people have a particular task in mind. They come to solve a particular problem, like learn a certain topic or maybe troubleshoot some issue. They come to my blog, they learn about it, they fix the problem, and then they go somewhere else to do some other tasks. So usually things like exits are high, and in the previous version of Google Analytics, bounce rate was also fairly high, but that's the reality. However, in situations like with e-commerce websites, the number of exits percentage-wise should not be that high compared to regular views. If you want to have a report that looks something like this, of course without heat map, in your standard reports of Google Analytics 4, here is what you could do. Because right now, when I'm recording this video, if I go to the pages and screens and then I switch to the content group, it will also not work, even though I'm sending that data. And that report is not working because of the new users metric. So what I could do is that I can click customize report while being in the report, and then I could remove the metric new users. In fact, what we are going to do is that we are going to create a separate new report just for content grouping. So what I can do is that I can remove all other unnecessary dimensions and just leave content group. So I will go back, and then in dimensions, I will click remove the landing page, remove page title, remove page path, just leave content group, then click save and save as new report. And then we can call this content groups. Save. And I realize that I did not apply those changes. So sorry, but again, let's do that. Let's remove these dimensions, then remove the metric new users, click apply, and then save as report. But this time I'm already editing the content groups report, so I will just save changes to the current report. Then I see the success message. So let's go back. And then if you don't see the sidebar, or I don't know, something else is not working, you can go to reports, then engagement. We don't see that report yet here. So I will click library, and then in the lifecycle, I will click edit collection. And then here in the engagement section, right here, I will add the content groups report right here somewhere. Click save, save changes to the current collection. And then let's see what we have. Let's go back, and then it makes sense to refresh the page because it's G4. Sometimes things don't work from the first time. And then let's go to engagement, content groups. And then we see the numbers of content groups, page views, sessions, and also another additional metric that was not available in explorations is average engagement time. So looking at these numbers, obviously the most engaging content where people spend the most are my courses because they have paid for them, they have enrolled, and now they're consuming content. So this is pretty normal and expected. And if we look at others, there are no significant outliers. Maybe the GA beginners content is not as engaging as GTM intermediate because it's like 2 times slower. So I would probably need to take a look at the best GTM intermediate blog posts and then try to find out why is this happening. And you can do that by adding the secondary dimension page location, for example, and then sort by engagement time and see which GTM intermediate content performs the best, is the most engaging. And maybe that will give me some clues what should I improve and include in the GA beginners content as well.
Nice. So the reason that I like getting the answer fixing, and then um, still looking at the rest of the resources is because sometimes you get additional context like we just did, and it does wonders on just making you more knowledgeable and understanding why uh, you're doing what you're doing. Okay, so you saw me create this. I got to go in and play around with exploration reports. I don't really have any images for that just yet, but once they're ready, I can drop them here. Something like this. This saves automatically, so I'll go from there. Um, this UTM thing is really solid and something I can solve for a little bit later. Uh, just making sure. Okay, cool. That's all I got. That's all I got, really. There's so much to do inside of GA, especially with the Explorer reports, learning how to manipulate here, go over to standard reports, and manipulating here based on what he was just talking about. If I go here and then I edit this report, I can customize and I can create a brand new report, which is dope. If I, let's say, let's do page path, screen class. I do it like that. I got event. Let's go event count. Okay, page views on the home page, obvious. Touch base, lots of people doing this. A lot of people. But hey, that sounds like a commonly push. And then I can do this. I can save as a new report and say page pass with events. This is just an example to show, what I just did. So I did this, and then we can actually go back to reports, go to the library, add these new business insights. That's kind of cool. Add a new collection called, where's it at? So I could just obviously, oops. Are they going to let me create a collection or HT test collection? Okay, here we go. They want me to do all this extra. All right, so I can just put this one that I just created here. And on top of that, I can say, let's do the user journey thing. Not that one. Tech overview. Okay, cool. So I got tech overview, got page pass and events. And so if I were to save this, it says that it's saved. Okay. Now I can add this to this library, which is dope, I think. That's untitled collection. Can I not drop the whole collection in here? Oh, here it is. Oh, crazy. What's going on over here? Okay. So yep. I'd be lying if I said that this situation wasn't buggy. It says unpublished. I just sat here and fucking published it. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Let's rename this thing. BHT sample custom idea. This is a collection, so I want to make sure I remember what that is. Okay, so this is the test collection. And I've also got this user tech thing, which is interesting. So this is the overview, tech overview that we talked about. Okay, got it. And then these are page paths. This is the same one I just set up. Beautiful. So this could be huge. I'm going to do this for my clients when I get back. I think a big piece of it